Imagine showing up to a Seventh-day Adventist camp meeting expecting traditional worship and instead witnessing gospel royalty, like Ricky Dillard and Karen Sheard, shake the very foundation of the event. Eyewitnesses are calling it the most shocking moment in camp meeting history, with allegations of rule-breaking, spiritual tension, and a move that left the crowd divided. What really happened behind those sacred tents? You're not ready for this one. The Seventh-day Adventist camp meetings are known for their tradition, reverence, and a deeply rooted structure of worship. But this year, something happened that has church folks talking in whispers and others outright rebuking what went down. Gospel powerhouses Ricky Dillard and Karen Sheard were invited to headline a special music segment. And let's just say what unfolded on that stage wasn't in the church bulletin. From soul-shaking high notes and praise breaks that left leaders looking stunned to claims of unapproved musical choices, backstage conflicts, and emotional testimonies that veered off script, the atmosphere at this year's camp meeting was electric, chaotic, and for some, a spiritual wake-up call. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened at the camp meeting, how SDA leadership reacted, and why this controversial moment has divided the gospel world. Was it divine disruption, a much-needed push toward unity and spirit-led worship, or a blatant disregard for Seventh-day Adventist worship protocol? You won't believe who stormed off stage, who got silence mid-song, and what's now being said behind closed doors by organizers and elders alike. Buckle up, because this story has praise, protest, and a performance that may have changed gospel history forever. Before the camp meeting even began, there were already murmurs of controversy. Every year, the Seventh-day Adventist camp meetings serve as a time of renewal, teaching, and spiritual restoration. Traditionally conservative in their structure, these events prioritize modesty, reverence, and a worship style that reflects the church's core beliefs, which typically do not include full-blown gospel theatrics. So when the camp meeting committee announced that Ricky Dillard, the energetic choir master known for his flamboyant stage presence, and Karen Sheard, the gospel icon with deep Pentecostal roots, would headline a musical segment, it was met with both excitement and serious concern. Some younger Adventists were thrilled. They felt it was time the denomination opened up and embraced more expressive worship styles. But not everyone was on board. In fact, a leaked email allegedly written by a district SDA elder warned that inviting such mainstream gospel figures could undermine the theological order of our worship and cause unnecessary division within the body. The most heated debates took place in private planning Zoom calls. According to an insider who spoke anonymously to a small gospel podcast, 2 committee members threatened to resign over the decision to invite Dillard and Sheard. One reportedly argued, "They don't represent our style, our theology, or our Sabbath values. This isn't just about music. It's about what kind of spirit we're allowing into our sacred space." But despite the backlash, the event moved forward with both Ricky and Karen confirmed to perform. Organizers defended their decision by saying they wanted to bridge the generational gap and welcome the wider gospel community in a spirit of unity. Some suspected there were political motivations, too. With declining youth attendance at many SDA events, bringing in popular gospel stars may have been a move to attract numbers, even if it meant stirring the pot. Tensions were high before the first note was ever sung. Social media debates exploded. Flyers were shared with captions like, "This ain't your grandma's camp meeting anymore," while others warned, "Don't let emotionalism replace reverence." The moment had come. It was late Saturday afternoon. The main worship tent was packed and anticipation was thick in the air. Cameras were rolling. Delegates, youth ministries, and local leaders filled the rows. Some had come in eager expectation. Others sat in guarded silence. Then the lights dimmed. The choir filed in not with quiet solemnity, but with purpose, energy, and color. This wasn't your traditional Adventist processional. Ricky Dillard, dressed in a glimmering green robe, entered behind them, waving his arms dramatically as the music swelled behind him. His choir exploded into song, more abundantly, followed by Release, 2 of his biggest hits, loaded with layered harmonies, hand claps, foot stomps, and key changes that echoed through the tent like a wave of praise. And here's where it got tense. The crowd split visibly. On one side, hands lifted, people standing, even tears flowing. On the other, leaders seated in discomfort, notebooks closing. One elder even reportedly left mid-song. According to eyewitnesses, an assistant worship coordinator was seen rushing backstage in distress, possibly to speak with a senior elder. It's unclear what was said, but shortly after, one of the choir's mic levels was mysteriously cut off for over a minute during a key solo moment. Was it a tech glitch or sabotage? And then came Ricky's commentary. In between songs, he took the mic and with passion and purpose said, "Let everything that hath breath, and I mean everything, praise the Lord." Sometimes tradition needs to move over for transformation. That line right there set off a firestorm. Some attendees clapped, others gasped. To traditional Adventist ears, that was a direct jab, a subtle challenge to the very foundation of their style of worship. People started recording on their phones. Clips quickly circulated online. TikTok and Instagram reels popped up showing attendees falling into full Pentecostal praise mode, some dancing, others shouting, a few even slain in the spirit. This wasn't the SDA vibe they were used to. For some, it was life-giving. For others, spiritually out of order. A youth pastor from the Southern Union later said in a podcast, "It was powerful, but the energy shifted too fast. There was no spiritual warning. For many of our elders, it felt like an ambush, not an altar call." Behind the scenes, some organizers were reportedly scrambling. One insider claimed that at least 3 scheduled programs were delayed or canceled entirely because Dillard's performance ran longer than expected and stirred so much emotional reaction that order had to be restored before continuing. After Ricky Dillard's explosive set, the room was already buzzing. The worship atmosphere had shifted far from the reserved, contemplative tone typical of Seventh-day Adventist services. Some leaders hoped things would calm down, maybe even return to order. But when Karen Sheard was introduced, that hope vanished. The moment she stepped onto the stage, dressed in a sleek navy suit and signature heels, the applause was thunderous. She didn't waste a second. The organ swelled and Karen went straight into one of her most powerful anthems, Balm in Gilead. Now here's where it gets tense. According to the internal run of show, Karen was originally scheduled to perform just one song and offer a short prayer, but she didn't stick to the script. After finishing her first number, she turned to the crowd, held the mic up again, and said, "I feel a shift in here. Somebody needs deliverance, not a program."